Welcome to the TK Show with the Athletic Bay Area's Editor-in-Chief, Tim Kawakami.
Everybody, Tim Kawakami here, TK Show on the exact 1 year anniversary of the launching at the Athletic Bay Area. Wow. Happy birthday to everybody. Happy birthday to Marcus Thompson. Happy 1 year birthday, Marcus. How you doing?
Man, can you believe we made it?
Oh, maybe just about it. This might be it, but we did 1 year. We got 1 year in.
I mean, I'm not surprised we made it, but it just feels like more has happened than I expected to happen, right? It just feels like we've crammed a lot into this year. So much so, I forgot about the golf tournament that Steph is playing in.
We all
geez, that was a year ago?
It's my exact experience. That's exactly when it hit me. He's like, I think you sent it to me and Jimmy Durkin. It's like, that's now, oh my God, that's when it hit all of us, because that's emotionally, I think, when we started. You on the TPC Stonebreak golf course, wandering around, covering Steph Curry's first time at the Ellie Mae Classic. And then when we found out, we realized, we should have realized it's coming, because that's how calendars work. It comes up again.
Right.
But that is like, wow, we got to now think about that again. That's this whole thing starting up again. Because, although we covered the Raiders and 49ers training camps last year in August, it was different. We didn't have full beat writers. We didn't hire Vic Tafer till the regular season, I think. And we had David Lombardi kind of patch it, working through. Then we put him on the beat, and now we've got Matt Barrows on the beat and David Lombardi. It feels different. This is kind of our first full year of the NFL. The Steph Curry at Stonebreak with Marcus trailing around him, that felt like the real, wow, this is happening again. And Marcus has got to get out there. You got to do that again.
I'm telling you, when I first got there and Steph was already warming up, right? He was on, hitting some balls, and there's a crowd of TV cameras around him. And then I walked in, and I'm just watching him, and he sees me, turns around, yo, the Athletic. I'm like, that was like our debut moment, right? We were spoken into existence. That's when we were for real. And Steph turned around, was like, the Athletic is in the house. And then he came over to me and brought all these cameras to me. So yeah, it's been like we did it. We did it. I don't think we're going anywhere, TK. What do you think?
Not right away. Not right away. That's for sure. I think the Athletic is here. The Athletic Bay Area.
I think I am trying to get you out so I can take your job. I think that's
you've been doing that forever. You already got my job.
At least I tell you to your face. I'm not gonna go behind your back.
I'm just a paper editor in chief. This is Marcus. Whatever Marcus wants is what we do. I'll just ask you though, what do you, other than this TPC Stonebreak, other than what do you remember about the early days of this? The first few weeks, let's say, of the Athletic Bay Area.
The funnier ones are the conversations we had,
yes, and
just how, it's not really funny, but it's funny. You're not gonna think it's funny, but just how completely done you were.
Yeah. Explain done.
We had talked about this stuff for so long, right? And it was all plans, and we'd have conversations, and you on no sleep, right? Just, yes. I gotta edit this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, right? It was just, and I was kind of chilling a little bit.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
I'll write a few stories here and there, but you're like, all right, I gotta go. I gotta edit this, and I gotta edit this, and I gotta edit this, and I gotta talk to this. And I just remember those first 2 weeks being like, yo, wow, Tim is doing a lot of work. This is crazy. Maybe I should volunteer to edit some stories.
And you did, but that was.
I remember that. That was, you were just a man. Man, it was crazy. Every story you edited, every photo you posted, then learning how to post it. Remember that? Learning how to post it.
Oh, God. That 6-minute delay was just the worst ever. I didn't realize it happened to everybody.
I didn't think you were going to make it at that point. I was like, I was chilling, though.
And by the way, Mark, I was covering the 49ers, by the way. Let's just add that.
And covering the 49ers, right?
Covering the 49ers. First day is the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch
And
era.
People were literally asking us, when's the podcast coming back? And I'm like, dude, Tim is just trying to stay alive right now.
Yes.
So I remember that. So that was a big part of it. I remember when we first got we were making hires. We're going behind the scenes, right? We're trying to get people. For me, getting Baggerly was a big deal.
Yep.
It felt like Like, you knew we had us, right? And we had Slater. We knew we had that. But that was when it became more than the Warriors, right? You know what I'm saying? It was like, all right, we got the best Giants writer, too. Yep. So that was a big deal for me. I'll never forget the party at Agave when you cried.
Nah, the exaggeration of Marcus Thompson. That's all right. I'll let you go on this.
How about you had a moving, touching
yes, it's a birthday
speech, which is you might as well be crying.
I made people weep. Maybe we'll exaggerate even more.
Oh man, going to San Quentin I'll never forget that because I didn't expect that to turn out to be much, but I was crying at San Quentin.
Yep, I remember that phone call. You called me afterwards, going, "Oh my God, this hit me."
That was crazy. But it was really like the quintessential like athletic opportunity. That's when it became real because you go, right? You just go and you write what it gives you. It's not, hey, go and let's write these. Let's get these bullet points in, or let's write the notebook, or it's not that. Let's keep it to 800 words. It was like, you go, you be a professional, and then you write what you come back with. And I remember cranking out 4,500 words.
Yeah, I think it was 44, 45. Yeah, I was like, okay.
It was like, oh wow, this is long, and that's where it was like, okay, this freedom is real. Like this is legit. And I'm writing stuff. I'm writing feelings and reflections. It's not like the traditional article. So for me, that was like, okay, I see how this thing works and it's real and it works, right? And it is different because I wasn't the only one there, right? And nobody else was writing that. So that's where it really became so real. It's like, okay, if I can do this, then there really is no limit. Yeah, we had a lot of good early moments that are especially great now that we've like succeeded so well, but at some points, it felt like, Tim ain't gonna make it.
that first 2 weeks, that I survived the first 2 weeks. That's to me, that's the anniversary. Like when we got through the first 2 weeks, we got Jimmy Durkin in place.
That was the key. Get Jimmy.
Yeah, that was sort of.
If we didn't get Jimmy, you wouldn't have made it.
I might not have made 2.5 weeks. I'll put it that way. And you know that as well as anybody because that was I'm doing interviews about the Athletic. I'm interviewing people to get hired. We're going through freelancers. I'm covering the 49ers. I'm editing every single story. That was a bit having conversations with the writers.
And we didn't have a structure either. Like we didn't have like the setup. So stories were coming in at all kinds of times.
Yep.
Right. Especially mine. Which is like.
That's a blur. We're past it. I am happy we're past it, but I'm glad we went through it. I mean, I learned the whole thing right there, the whole thing, how to do it. And hopefully I don't have to do all that stuff ever again. Please tell me that.
I mean, but did you know though? Did you know what you were getting into?
I knew about a week before I started getting the feeling, wait a minute, we don't have the structure here to do it the way I want to do it, so I'm going to have to do all of it. Maybe a week and a half before it started dawning on me, we started writing down stories, and then I started like, who's editing this? Wait a minute, how is it going to – okay, wait a minute, it's got to be me. And then who's putting the headlines on? Wait a minute, that's got to be me. Who's talking to the freelancers? Well, that's got to be me. Who's writing the 49ers? Well, that's got to be me. All those things, like, okay, all these arrows are pointing to me now. Let me suck it up and let's make sure we get a managing editor here at some point. That was like, let's just get remember we had delays on the managing editor. It took some time.
We actually had somebody, and then they took another job, and then we went after somebody. Yeah,
that's correct. So as all this is going on, and it's like it kept pointing to me, is that well, we got to get somebody, and we got to get somebody good. We got Jimmy Durkin, and that alleviated a lot of all the excess stuff. Like my job's still hard. I'm still doing a lot of stuff, but having Jimmy knowing that we can get the site out. Hey, I went on vacation the last 5 days. I could not have done that in August of last year, obviously, but I couldn't even think about it. I did, Marcus. I think I went like 364 straight days of working. Which is a little bit much. But
slacker.
Yeah, I didn't go 365.
LeBron
total.
played 82 games, and you couldn't even finish out a whole
year. He played 49 minutes a game in the final. Well, this is just the way we went. Well, okay,
you got to get that last day in to get a full year. Come on.
I didn't do it. I couldn't clock it. Give me a story written by somebody else that you think kind of defined our first year.
Oh man, there's a lot of stories. I remember the Kyle Shanahan. Remember he had the press conference and he was a little angry.
Yep. Yes, he was.
That was I remember that one. That was like one of those early stood out, and people just reacted to it, and it was like, you on the 49ers, right? It's like reading the room, filling the post, and people were subscribing. I was like, yo, this is like, it was a fairly, I don't want to say run of the mill, but it was what you do, right? It was normal, and people were liking it. It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. What's Slater's David West piece?
Yep.
Like that was a good one to begin with. Remember Lisa Olson's piece?
I remember several of them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm trying to think. Was it the Dodgers?
The Dodgers. Well, that one had a reaction. Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that one up. That had a reaction that we all had to kind of deal with, and we all had to get used to. I think we're still getting used to. I think as journalists, we're kind of used to some people not liking what we write, but they still read it. And I think maybe that has to filter through everybody. That every story isn't going to be 5 people saying how great it is. It's going, if you read it and you might react in a different way. It doesn't mean they hate the story. It just means that they're going to react in a different way. And I think that wasn't a big deal for you or me and Jimmy and others, but maybe, it filtered through. We're going to have to get used to this kind of thing, and we're still kind of getting used to this kind of thing as a journalism entity. But then we've had a few other of those. I'm not going to,
we definitely had a few of those.
But I think that's part of what we do. We can't do stories that only make people feel happy and only reinforce the positive things, that only tell them what they want to hear. And I think maybe there's too much of that going on in this world. No, not in true journalism. We want to do some of those. We want to do some good, many good stories, positive stories. Certainly the Warriors are, people at times criticize us for not criticizing them. Well, they've won 3 championships in 4 years. What do you want us to do? If we were criticizing them, it would be silly. You point out potential weaknesses. You analyze what you can. But if this is,
and they still win 3 championships.
They win championships. This is the greatest run in sports history. Do you want to be the person who ripped the 49ers dynasty when it was there, or do you want to illuminate why it's happening? And I hope that we're doing that with the Warriors. The interesting thing for us, I think, is that we started this, and we are now talking about a 1-year anniversary with the Warriors quiet. With the Warriors not involved, really. I mean, here and there. That was why the Steph Curry thing was so funny. It was Steph on the golf course.
On the golf course, yeah.
That we made our bones with the Warriors not live for another couple months. This is how we started. We built this for the Warriors, you, me, and Slater, and then we're going to add the mysterious Ethan Strauss, and we had Danny LaRue, but we didn't have him for a while. And just kind of what are we going to be structurally to get ready for the Warriors and how we're going to cover the Warriors. And I think it kind of happened naturally. We kind of had to put it together with the 49ers, Raiders, Giants, A's, Sharks, and then the Warriors just kind of because we knew we could do Warriors. We knew.
Yeah, and we definitely got to mention Vic coming in on the Raiders.
Absolutely.
Right, and especially at a time where we didn't even know if the Raiders would be a draw. And there weren't that many Raiders candidates out there, not who could come in and make people subscribe. So getting Vic, and then he gets the Michael Crabtree exclusive on the chain snatching, right? At some point it just started feeling like we were an operation, and it was just.
Well, if you go back to it, right? It wasn't 100% sure that we were going to cover the Raiders full time last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we had ways to cover them, but it wasn't 100% sure. We were always going to cover the 49ers. It might have been me for the full season. We were always going to do the Giants eventually. We were always going to do the Sharks just because they're that sport is so important.
We were going to check in on the Raiders when we needed to.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't sure. It wasn't sure, but it was always going to be Vic if and when we could do it. That's kind of how this happened. Is we're kind of be opportunistic. Let's figure out the right person at the right time. Let's present it to our co-founders at the right time, and we kind of filled our staff that way. I mean, again, I don't know if you read the piece. Do you guess how many full-time staffers we got now, Marcus? What would you guess?
On Bay Area?
Yeah, Bay Area.
9?
12. 12. Which
Jeez.
is, yeah, like I run a 12-person staff. Well, it includes me, but and then you. I guess I don't run you, but we have 12 people on full-time on staff, and we have 7 regular contributors. That's 19-person staff. That's pretty amazing. That this is, but you know what?
In a year, right?
Yeah, in a year, starting with 3, you, me, and Slater. It's built up to, but it's it's all natural.
Whoa! Slater was on vacation when we started.
Slater was in
Slater was in
foreign
another
country
country,
that I remember.
on a beach somewhere. That don't even count.
He gets a little sensitive when we bring that up, but it's true. I think we got a fax from Peru or something, or wherever he was. Yeah.
Contract.
So we had to work it out in international currency in some way. But
So since we got him, can we talk about one of the funnier moments of the early days was trying to get barrels.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one later, maybe. We did make frequent runs at Matthew Barrows. This is true, but we got him. It's all good. He's such a natural. I mean, we could say Ethan, kind of the same thing. Natural.
Oh, yeah.
I put those. They're very different writers and very different people, and they have different roles.
But they're built for what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you start drawing out like who is perfect for us, everybody on staff we've got, I would say so, or else they wouldn't be. But those two really are the sensibilities. Like, just let them go. You just let them go. I mean, I didn't know Ethan was going to write like Ethan has been writing, but I knew it'd be good, and I knew it'd be good for us. And Barrows the same way. You can just tell reading people how they will exist in a much freer environment. And they got to be disciplined too. We don't want people writing crazy stuff. Disciplined, analytical, reported, but also with a flair to take it further, to take it to some kind of unique space, and they both do it. Those two guys, and it took a while to get both of them. Ethan probably mid-May, and May
those
15,
man. One day there needs to be a TK show on you and recruiting.
Yeah,
like that's and the hiring process.
Yeah, well, that'll be a while from now. That'll be a while from now.
That should be in the book.
Yeah.
That should be in your book.
Yeah, it's been fascinating. It's been fun. You talk about different muscles that you have to exert. Just going from being a columnist, writing what I write, and what the hell, whatever else the newspaper does, fine. To you gotta not only do you have to put the staff together, you gotta get these people to want to come. You've got to talk to them. You've got to meet certain requirements. You've got to discuss certain things that may or may not happen.
And you got to help them see the vision.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like at times for me, it seemed obvious, but even me, even I saw the vision and still was like, "Are you sure?"
Yep.
So.
Yep. And everybody
has
has
to
seen
do a little bit of that.
Yeah, I think everybody's seen it. It's just a matter of how they fit. It's different versions. Tafer and Kevin Kurz were, early on, and Baggerly. I'd say that those three, saw it very early. It's just a matter of when the right timing was, when the right moment for us was. But that's a whole other thing. We don't need to talk too much more of that. But there were a lot of things that have went on in the first year.
That was funny.
Yeah, and I'd say, we're talking about Baggerly. I'd say Baggerly's first story on the winter meetings, his personal recollections really was like, I heard him talk.
Oh, that was great, yes.
Yeah, I heard him talk about it because we had a lunch. Didn't we? We had a lunch. Were you at that? You might have missed that one. A baseball lunch. And he started just talking about, in winter meetings, did this happen and this happened. I went, there it is. There's your piece.
You should write that.
Yeah, there's your piece. And it was great. It wasn't his intro piece, but it was close to it because he went right to the winter meetings. And it just was what we do. It just was the tone and the knowledge and the institutional feel about baseball, the industry as a whole, that really, this is what we do. And let's just let writers who can do it. And Bags has been like with that for every story. Just go do what you see. And that's been very, very fun to watch. I'd say that of the ones that I can, let's say the first 4 months of our existence, first 6 months of our existence, I remember that one. I remember certainly your San Quentin story. I remember the Slater's interview with Durant. I think that was in our first
in
week.
India.
Yeah,
or for after India,
coming
right?
back from India.
Yeah.
That really hit. Durant understands this. I mean, the players understand the athletic, the model, I'd say faster than a lot of people. They got it. Like, it's the digitally aware people get it. Like, the reporter is the person they talk to. It isn't the platform. And if they understand that the reporter is going to be fair, they understand the reporter knows what they're talking about, that transfer is easy for them. That world of it has to be the newspaper.
Well, it makes sense,
gone.
right? They are into their individual brands and into like getting full value and into like, you know, being expressive even like as individual entities, even in a team sport. Yeah. And like we're seeing journalism transition to that. Like, we're not looking for who you work for. We're looking for how good you are individually and how well you brand yourself and what kind of audience you have. And they kind of spot that. Like, that's what we get. We get journalists who all have their own brand.
Yep. Right.
And we know who they are as journalists, not because of who they work for, but because of how they do their work. I remember Steph Curry, like, on that right away. Right away, he saw it. Bob Myers, right away. But that was a good sign. I know you were saying this. We would talk to Kerr and Myers about you know, the process of getting the job and run stuff by them. I know Myers was like my free agent. He was like pro bono my agent.
Yep.
But they like that's the world they traffic in, and they were interested in that like we were trafficking in that world. Where it's like, you know, Bob Myers is trying to tell me how much I'm worth, and I don't even know.
Yep.
Right. So that felt like a natural transition. I think we're seeing that's kind of an industry-wide thing too.
Yeah, they get it. I mean, and they're looking for other platforms too. Like, they're looking for the digital way to reach fans, and they understand that this is a new thing that's worth looking at. That's worth seeing what's going to happen. That's worth, you know, investing their time in at least. And you know, and I'm glad that Myers convinced you to sign for the mid-level. I'm glad he didn't try to get the max for you. The designated columnist max.
He told me to take the qualifying offer and be unrestricted next year. So.
And when the big summer, July 2019 is going to be Durant and Marcus as free agents. That's going to be the big two.
Here's a question for you, TK.
Yep.
We got a year under our belt. What do we do now?
I don't know. Not fold. I think that's the goal. Let's not fold. I mean, I think, you know, listen, I'm going to be talking to another guest in the next few minutes that might have a lot more information about that. But I think we just continue being us. We just do us. That's been always the goal for us, and succeed and do good stories and understand that the audience is there and let it grow and grow and grow. That's my goal was. Let's make sure people know that we're here in the first year, and beyond that, let's just become what they have to read. Like, this is, you know, the amount of people we've gotten are the people that kind of sought us out. Now, let's be so big that you have to read us if you're going to know about Bay Area sports. And we might be there already, but I want to be there after the end of 2 years.
I love people who are like, you know, who've been fighting all year or fighting for months. I'm not doing this. I'm not subscribing. And then eventually, like, all right, you got me. Yep. I subscribe.
Yep.
And that's what I want to do. I want to wear them down.
Just like, keep throwing. Sure. Just keep throwing riders at them that they want to read. And at some point, there's going to be. I mean, and I would say we've gotten a large number, and we're not going to say the number, but we have a large section of that, larger than you and I ever thought we would after a year. And it's just that number is just going to keep growing, and it's been growing. Last week was a huge week. Maybe coincidentally, while I was on vacation, I'll probably hear about that from our bosses.
Not coincidentally. I was like, "Yo, let's go."
Let's go. Shackles are off. Let's just go. Let's go. All right. Speaking of some people who are above you and I, we have another guest coming on for our anniversary show. So, Marcus, you're at the NABJ. You have some work to do. You've got some of our corporate people who want you to get back out there and meet and greet and represent.
And recruit talent.
Yeah. Like the statesman you are. So tell Taylor, go on. I'm letting you go. We're not taking any more of your time. You're valuable to the company of doing what you're doing.
And tell Adam to pay me some more money. That's your job.
Give
me more money.
That's a secret new guest, so we'll get to that in a bit. You can tell him on your own show. All right, Marcus.
Got you.
Thank you.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends over at Hims. 66% of men lose their hair by age 35. Some of you Warriors fans probably have a joke about this regarding the newest Los Angeles Laker, but it's not funny when it happens to you. The thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. And why do guys turn to weird solutions, or even worse, do nothing, when they can turn to medicine and science? We've got a solution for you. 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat your hair loss. No waiting room, no awkward doctor visits, and you save hours by going to 4hims.com. It's so easy. Answer a few quick questions, a doctor reviews them, and can prescribe you products which are shipped directly to your door. If you order now, TK's listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 while supplies last. See website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. So, go to 4hims.com/TK. That's FORHIMS.com/TK. Again, that's 4hims.com/TK. We're going to take another quick break to talk about our friends over at Lightstream. Want to know an easy way to save some money? Lower the interest rate on your credit card debt with a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. Lightstream rewards consumers who have good credit with a great interest rate and no fees. Get a credit card consolidation loan from 5.89% APR with AutoPay. Loans from $5,000 to $100,000. Choose your funding date as soon as today. TK's listeners get an additional rate discount on top of Lightstream's already low rates. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/TK show. LIGHTSTREAM.com/TK show. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. View lightstream.com for more information. And now, back to the TK show.
Everybody, Tim Kawakami back for a two-part anniversary special. 1 year birthday of the Athletic Bay Area. Who knew? Who knew we could last this long? And someone who might know a little bit about this is our co-founder, Adam Hansmann. And I can reveal this. I mean, you were basically my managing editor for the first couple weeks, helping get these stories posted, edited, run through. Adam, let's ask about that. How do you feel as being one of the launching editors of the Athletic Bay Area?
Yeah, hey Tim. That is that's a little bit of our dirty laundry, I guess. but you probably remember how quickly we hired Jimmy Durkin after I started touching the stories and the copy, and so I think that's probably a testament to the work that was done there. But that was a fun time. Maybe less fun for you, but I knew we'd figure it out, and I think we have. So hey, happy birthday!
Thank you.
So we're going birthday, not anniversary.
Yeah, I like birthday. It just seems a little less formal, a little more like let's celebrate a little bit. I might change my mind in a little bit, but right now, much to the spirit of the Athletic Bay Area, we kind of like let's see how it feels, and if it feels right, then we move forward with it. If it doesn't feel right, we kind of change it. But let's go with birthday. And thank you for that. I asked Marcus a little bit earlier what he remembered from the first days. Like, do you remember anything? I mean, you had launched 5 other cities before the Bay Area: Chicago, Toronto, Cleveland, Detroit. So 4 other cities. We were the 5th.
Yep.
What do you? Anything specific? I mean, you're based in San Francisco, so was there a little bit different for you and Alex Mather, the CEO, the other co-founder, about launching the Athletic Bay Area to you guys?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it was a unique launch given that we were here. We were actually able to kind of meet up with you guys and, prepare to launch as opposed to sort of doing everything over Slack like we normally do or over the phone, right? So it was unique. I think you guys did an amazing job of sort of rounding up some content. I do remember there was the matter of Ethan Strauss.
Ethan doesn't love us talking about it too much, but you're allowed to say anything you want to. I get warned not to talk about it, but yeah, Ethan was on board and then he wasn't on board the first day.
I think it's okay. I think the statute of limitations is passed now that he's with us full time, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, I just remember, I think it was the first time we did a launch, or maybe the second time we did a launch with a T-shirt, and they flew off the shelves.
Yep.
And we actually did the pre-sale on, I think it was July 31st, and so I wasn't sure if that was our birthday but your sort of announcement post went live on August 1st.
Yep.
So we'll go with that. It was a great, like, I think I even remember, Marcus, you both wrote a post, and they were both incredible. And so, yeah, I remember just mostly as a co-founder, I'm looking at sort of the numbers here, and just seeing the response was incredible. It was our biggest launch to date. I can put that out there. So yeah, a lot of fun. I think we were up most of the night before, if memory serves me as well.
Yes, I recall being up most every night of the first few weeks. This company obviously was at one point then, and maybe at another point now. I mean, it's a big question to you, but the way this company has evolved, has it been vastly different than maybe you and Alex had imagined even a year ago, or has it been about what you had planned?
Yeah, I think the surprise came sort of, it was not sort of a Bay Area specific thing, with a lot of the, quote unquote national talent that became available, around the time that we were sort of, getting going here in the Bay Area. And so I would say, like, our plan all along was to sort of test the idea of the Athletic out in a few cities, 1 to 3 cities, a small handful, and see what the data would show. And but the availability of folks like Ken Rosenthal, even just opportunistically, I know in the Bay Area we've been talking to you and Marcus for a number of months, just kind of casually. And then, sort of things just started coming together. And yeah, I would say we've definitely gone a few cycles faster than Alex or I could have ever predicted. And that has created, it's created stress. It's created a lot of work here at headquarters to kind of keep up with you guys. But most importantly, like, you guys have killed it with the coverage. The growth has been there. The engagement is incredible to see. Not just people, flipping open the app, but really, even thinking back to the NBA Finals, having subscribers from all over the continent consuming your work, Anthony's, Ethan's, Tim's, or, Marcus's. That's been really cool to see.
You're in the middle of journalism. I mean, I joked that you were my managing editor the first couple weeks, but you were, and writing headlines and going through stories. And I know you don't necessarily have a journalism background, but you were looking at stories journalistically. Do you find yourself thinking like a journalist these days, or were you thinking like a journalist even a year and a half, 2 years ago? You had to when you're hiring them, right? Or do you find yourself thinking, okay, this isn't so much a corporate thing, this is also a journalistic endeavor for yourself and Alex too?
Yeah, I think that's great intuition. I actually was the editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper.
Oh, there you go. What am I saying?
There was
back in Cincinnati. You're tearing up Cincinnati high school journalism.
Yeah, we'll have to dig up some of those issues. I don't think the work was very good, but yeah, I think you learn the sort of language of journalism pretty quickly. Alex and I have had to do that. I'm actually quite amazed at how little, sort of using Alex and I as sort of a proxy for just, like the average citizen actually knows about what goes into the work of journalism. Mm-hmm. It's sort of a scary thought, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, I mean, I think we sort of, while we've never been in the scrum ourselves, we sort of have a much better understanding of all the work that goes into it. And, I think we have a lot of respect for that. I don't think we could do the job that you guys do.
Do you have a story or two that kind of circles that for you, or do you want to highlight anything? Okay, that was something that you didn't expect, or something that was a little surprising to you?
Yeah, I think I was kind of reflecting this morning about some of the just overall surprises. I mean, I don't think the overall success was that big of a surprise in the Bay Area, considering the quality of the editorial team that we constructed, that you guys helped us construct. In fact, that's really the only thing that will make a venture like ours fly when we're starting from scratch. I think what's been really cool to see, I forget the exact cadence of the hires, but on day one, we sort of had our headliners, you, Tim, Marcus, and then I think David was on board on opening day. right? And then
as a contributor, yep.
Yeah, and you sort of had like Anthony, Vic, Kevin, Andrew, Julian all coming like in later waves. And what has been so rewarding to see is the contributors, not just from you guys, but the entire masthead. So like, take Vic on the Raiders. First, as far as I know, the Raiders are leaving Oakland the next couple of years. The fan base is relatively, modest in size, at least if you go by attendance. And the franchise hasn't had a ton of success over the last decade. And so like with Vic, I mean, he's one of the most unassuming people you will ever meet. Would you agree, Tim?
Yeah, he's got a different. He's different, but not right in your face. That's for sure.
He's not in your face, and I don't know if he's ever blocked someone on Twitter, unlike let's say some other people. But then Vic went and had just an absolutely tremendous season with us, and really established us as an authority on the team. And I'm sure you could relay similar anecdotes with everyone that we've hired. Anthony's kind of ever-present Warriors coverage, Julian's kind of emergence, with Bags like returning to like this like writing style that he wasn't sort of free to utilize before. And then even somebody like Ted Nguyen was like contributor for us on the Raiders, and we've now hired him full time. And so that's just been incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, we could go back. I remember one story is like, I always wanted Bags. That was always the guy I wanted for the Giants. But you kind of said, "Hey, let's go get Bags." That was from reading him before. How did that come about in your mind?
Well, one of our little secrets. Obviously, we can see the audience that folks bring us in Andrew just sort of spans multiple sort of outlets and kind of eras with the team. And so, I'd read some of his stuff. It was incredibly good to me. I'm not a Giants fan, but it just felt like almost manifest destiny to have somebody like that join us.
You're a baseball guy, right? That's probably your favorite sport.
I would say baseball is my favorite sport, though I will say after I guess 2.5 years now with the Athletic, hockey is rising quickly.
Yes, good, smart.
We owe hockey a lot, and it's been one of the best performing sports for us. So plus, I will say, as somebody as with the Athletic, right, being ad free, I love that hockey. There's really good flow of the game. Fewer interruptions and that kind of thing.
Man, just talking with you, I'm going back through some of the writers, contributors that we had, baseball analytics. I'm thinking in specific that we kind of went through there. We won't name any names.
Sure.
But you and I went through some stuff early on, didn't we? I'm just recalling there was a lot of writers that we had to kind of talk to, go through, stories assigned. Figure out how that went. But that was good for you and me, I think, too, that we kind of both went through that together and understood where each of our heads were at and understood there was a common ground and how we could figure this out. Maybe sometimes we're still trying to figure that out, but I think those first few weeks of going through these writers, you and I together, was pretty interesting. Well, and almost right away, you and Alex, the Athletic, became a hot topic in journalism for obvious reasons. There are not many operations starting up in the middle of this declining world of print journalism and people looking for new things. How's that been in the spotlight? Some of it, I believe, has been unfair. Many of it unfair, but some of it has just been the natural order of things. So have you at all enjoyed, or have you been trying to run away from it? Well, what's been that experience for you and Alex? But I'm talking to you, so you specifically.
We definitely do not crave the limelight. I think, if anything, I keep it mostly a Twitter presence just to kind of scour like the comments people are making and then just some of the, social chatter. But I think overall, I would say it's been really humbling to, as first-time founders of a company, to come in and just given the state of the industry, we've had this opportunity to really access folks that maybe 10 years ago we wouldn't have, people like yourself, Tim. And so I think it's been incredibly humbling to just talk to journalists every day, to hear about their frustrations, to hopefully create something better for them, and to see, the growth sort of almost feels too good to be true at times. And I would say we still have so much work to do. I'm sure you can relate just in terms of coordination and setting things up and having, one hand talk to the other. So,
I can relate a little bit to that.
yeah. So, but, I think, in terms of, kind of the narrative with us, some good, some bad. I think it's all fair. It's sort of the very public nature of this business, I think, will keep us ultimately really accountable to both our, editorial folks as well as our customers. And I think that's a healthy thing. And, sort of this day and age.
You and I did an interview the day after Alex's notable comments in the New York Times.
Sure.
About newspapers and bleeding them dry. And I think we both said what we felt at the time. It's like I said I want to be with a winner. And while I would not have phrased it that way, while I love newspapers, I don't want to be on a company with someone leading it who doesn't see that they want to win. What was those few days, that week like for you? Certainly under a torrent of criticism from people at newspapers, and I understood a lot of it.
Yeah, I think we relayed as much in that interview. I think it was San Francisco Magazine. Yeah. But I think
a story I didn't love myself, by the way, but we can go on that another way.
Right. I think the sort of criticism and sort of people responding negatively towards what they perceived as like, hey, journalism is sacred, and here we have these folks from San Francisco kind of cast as, quote unquote tech bros or whatever. And I'm not worried about that. I've developed some thick skin. But, I think that ultimately, like this, we're still a young company. We still got a hell of a long way to go. And so I can't be sort of worried about, the distractions or naysayers. And yeah, I mean, we're just keeping our heads down and just trying to build this thing.
I always believe that no matter what, is just you keep doing the next day and the next day and the next day, and whatever happens around you, you're doing the thing you do, not reacting to the things that people want you to react to. And so what is next? I mean, just open in Atlanta, have opened in Baltimore. I can't even track of all this. What are we, 30 cities now? I can't even keep track of how many, because there's new cities every time. But do we have any big launches coming up? Where are we on the expansion discussion?
Yeah, I think the torrent of activity is, maybe not surprising, but kind of natural just given where we are in the sports calendar, right? So, basketball, college, hockey, NFL are all sort of off. And so it's just a really good time to go and have conversations with folks that might be interested. And so, I think our goal is we've been pretty public about our goal to sort of get into as many markets as we can. We're not going to launch in a place if we don't find someone that we feel or people that we feel really good about. And that includes, experienced sort of people that have been on beats, that includes columnists, editors that, we're thinking a lot more about diversity. Obviously, the NABJ conference is this week, and we've got a panel there and a big contingent. And so, a lot of phone calls going on. I can see some of our staff walking on the roof deck, having some conversations now. But yeah, I think the next couple of months are going to be really busy, and then as we get into later kind of back half of the calendar year, it'll be really more about just focusing on the coverage and putting good stories out there.
You want to announce any big hires? I'm hearing all these big names involved with the NBA. Just go ahead and drop a few if you want to.
Yeah, I don't think I want to. Well, I can sort of, I guess, confirm some news, which is I saw last night Jason Jones announcing, and we are so excited to kind of extend our Northern California footprint. So
to cover the Kings, absolutely.
To cover the Kings, yep. So, and obviously Jason goes way back with DeMarcus Cousins, and so like there's a nice sort of synergy there. And obviously, folks in Sacramento have a favorite NFL team, and it's probably a team that we cover. And so there's just these like nice things that start to go together. And so Jason's a perfect example of the kind of person that we want to add to our staff. And so, yeah, NBA, NFL, some additional NHL hires are all sort of underway. We'll see what happens in the next, call it, 8 to 12 weeks.
I can ask you, this is kind of the conversation Adam and I have all the time. So is Jason going to be under my staff in the Bay Area? Or is he going, how's this going to work?
I actually don't know. I think we got a couple options there. We'll see if Jimmy wants to, Jimmy and Melissa want to take one more under their wings, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay, yeah, this is how Adam and I communicate. Like, hey, wait a minute, what's going? Is this going to affect me? It would be great.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Sacramento Kings beat writer there with Jason's absolutely somebody to have, and he got a congratulatory tweet by DeMarcus Cousins. I don't know if you saw that. So
I didn't see that.
yeah,
That's great.
That works out just fine. We'll wrap this up. I don't want to take. I know you got people to hire. You got that headquarters is buzzing, which is what 22 people now in headquarters, which is
You nailed it.
Is amazing to me. Which is like we're planning our staff party at headquarters, and I was trying to okay, what you got 12 people there corporate who are certainly invited. No, 22. So I was just in there. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, we need some more space. I think we're bursting out here, but we'll work on that.
All right, that's all. That's you. That's all on you. Hey, well,
Yep.
I will ask you to finish this up. Would I ask all my guests except for Marcus earlier today because I don't want to hear his answer. Adam, what's your favorite restaurant?
Yeah, I had a feeling you're going to ask that. There is my answer is going to be Junie. So there's a sushi restaurant kind of square in the middle of the city. One of these places where they sort of serve you one bite at a time, and it is just absolutely. I don't like to overhype my like consumer experiences because it just seems like a lot of exactly that. It's hype, but this place is phenomenal. So check it out. They serve like 12 guests at a time. And if you're into sushi, I think it is probably one of the best sushi places in the Bay.
Okay,
So
I had not heard that. That's Financial District, San Francisco.
a little west of there, but
Okay.
yeah, in that area.
Very nice. All right, Adam. Listen, appreciate it, and thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for being supportive of the Athletic Bay Area for 1 year at least. We did it. 1 year.
1 year. Let's keep going. Happy birthday, Tim, and thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks very much. That's Adam Hansmann. Thank you, everybody. That's the show.